Okay, so now we've got that marabou tied in nicely. We've tied in our back, cut some of these stragglers off here in the end of the fly. We've got our dark green back on. I want to add a little more flash to the fly. The Steve Farrar has enough flash in it for the most part, but when I'm tying pike flies, I'm not scared to put flash into my fly. If you've ever fished with gear, plugs and lures and that sort of thing for pikes, spinner baits and spoons and spinners, they have a ton of flash. And I don't know if you could ever tie a fly that would have as much flash as like a hammered blade spinning through the water. So I'm not scared to tie in a little extra flash in my fly. I've never really felt that it harmed my chances of catching those predatory type fish like pike or even brown trout for that matter. So we're going to use some angel hair. This is a angel hair bait fish color, which is basically just a sort of a greenish bluish color, and we're going to tie that in right on top of that dark green Farrar, just like that. Crank it down nice and tight and flip the other half over, and then just tie that down. You can tie that down right flat, build your head right over top of that, because the hollow tie on that chartreuse in behind will keep the fly nicely full. It won't flatten out. It'll keep its shape. Pull out any stragglers, material that didn't get quite tied in. The angel hair can be a bit unruly to work with at times, but it provides a great deal of flash into the fly, and yet it's still supple, moves well. It doesn't take away from the movement of the fly at all. Alright, now we can whip finish, and our fly is basically done. We just need to put some eyes on it. I like putting eyes on all my bait fish patterns, especially the ones I tie for pike. I don't have much confidence fishing one that doesn't have eyes on it. I don't know that it makes a tremendous amount of difference. I certainly have caught fish after eyes have fallen off the fly, but I just like having eyes on it. So we're going to use some of these holographic eyes, and they got a little, they're sticky. They got a bit of stick them on the back of them, which makes it handy. We'll stick that right on that nice big thread head that we've built up there, and one on the other side. It'll cover up the rest of that thread head so you don't even see it anymore. That's why you don't have to be worried about building up too big of a thread head. It's not going to make the fly look any worse. Once you stick the eyes on, you can't see their thread head anymore anyways. Make sure they're even in the right place. And then we're going to use this tough fly. It's an epoxy substitute. It's an acrylic epoxy substitute. It works very well for this, and we're just going to fill the gaps between the eyes, top and bottom, and that'll adhere the fly right to the, adhere the eyes right to the fly, and it makes it absolutely bomb-proof. It completely covers up your thread head, so you won't have to worry about your fly coming undone, and these eyes will never come off. You can fish this fly, the eyes will still be there long after the material has been ripped to shreds by the pike. Your eyes will still be on this fly. They will not come off, and I've found that when you just glue the eyes on, they still rip off. No matter what kind of glue you use, eventually they'll rip off. Even if the glue holds, the material won't, right? So the fly will still rip off, taking material with it. So this stuff's nice to use. It doesn't set up on you until you hit it with the curing light. So you just get it where you want it, where you like it, hit it with the light, and it sets instantly. Cures in about 3 to 5 seconds. I like to hold the light on it for about 10. That's probably just my own paranoia setting in, but I want a fully cured hard head that's not going to come apart or unravel on me. And I want the eyes to stay on the hook too, and so I want that to be fully cured. And then we do the same thing on the bottom. Just fill that gap up with your tough fly or clear cure goo or whatever, UV knot sense, whatever it is you're using. All of these acrylics are roughly the same. They're all excellent products. You can move the stuff just like you would with epoxy with a needle or a bodkin or whatever. has about the same viscosity as 5-minute epoxy does, just as it's starting to set up. So it's pretty easy stuff to use. Once you get it where you want it, hit it with the light. And hold it there for about 10 seconds. She'll cure right up. And this fly is one durable fly, and you'll find that it does not come apart, the eyes don't fall off, your thread won't get beaten up on the front, your fly won't start to unravel. The only thing about this stuff is it has a bit of a tacky residue, so you just want to coat it with some Flex cement, or like Dave's Flex cement, Hard as Hull, any kind of really head cement or anything like that. Tough Fly makes their own product called Tough Fly Top Cure, which is what I'm using here, and it works as well. And basically all that does is it just puts just a hard coating over top of the epoxy. You don't really need the hardness of it, but it takes away the tacky residue. And just let that dry. This is the completed fly. Now you can also add some black par markings with a Sharpie or something like that to really make it look like an authentic Fire Tiger lure. I don't know if that makes a great deal of difference or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But that fly is a great fly. It imitates that Fire Tiger lure. In the fall, you'll find this fly to be extremely effective. It'll work all year round, but I just find in the fall, for whatever reason, seems to work a little better. I do vary the colors in it from time to time. Sometimes I tie it to look like a perch. I substitute out the hot orange bucktail for some yellow bucktail and put the par markings on it, something like that. And now it looks a lot more like a perch. If you have perch in the lakes, that's a huge forage fish for pike and for walleye, and that looks a lot more like a perch. You can put those same bar markings though on the Fire Tiger one, and makes for an excellent fly. These flies work great. They have a lot of movement in the water. The Steve Farrar material makes the fly look so lifelike in the water. It's an excellent material. It's got flash built into it. Try these out. You'll find they work very good. I really like this Fire Tiger combination. It seems to work very good. And your gear fishing buddy with those Fire Tiger repellers, he's no longer going to outfish you. You're going to be able to keep pace. No need to thank me. Just doing my duty, spreading the love. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you again.